Madison Square Garden with 9 Inch Nails. Marilyn, welcome.
Thanks.
What's going on?
Just getting ready to do this show. It's a little strange to play at Madison Square Garden.
Yeah, how's that feel?
arena.
You guys from Miami?
Yeah. We're more accustomed to, smaller venues, so this is a little less personal, so it's different, but it works out either way.
Most exciting venue you played in yet?
I don't think so. I mean, there's been a few like Boston where they ripped out all the seats, and I thought there was going to be a riot. That was pretty exciting. We'll see what happens tonight.
You have fun when there's riots and stuff?
It adds a little excitement, I guess. Things break and people get dismembered and stuff like that.
Sounds like fun. Portrait of an American Family is the title of the album.
Right.
Favorite song on the album?
My favorite song, Organ Grinder.
Mm-hmm.
The album basically, it's not so much a concept record, but it talks a lot about the American family in America, and kind of from an outsider's point of view, even though I am born and bred and very much American, I try to look at it from an outsider's point of view and see that it's a very...
Why do you feel you have to...
Because when you're a part of it, sometimes you can't really see it clearly. And I think it's a really masochistic family structure, and kids are raised to feel ashamed for thinking different than their parents do, and you're raised to feel guilty for not being like your parents.
You think
and
so?
I think that's where a lot of troubled teens come from, your serial killers and your teen suicides. I don't think it has anything to do with rock music. I think parents want to put the blame on things like Marilyn Manson because they're not willing to accept the responsibility of their inadequate child rearing.
Yeah, but kids have a lot of freedom in America. More
They
than
do,
they've ever
but
had.
their parents also have to teach them responsibility with that freedom. If you want to be able to do what you want, see what you want, hear what you want, you have to be able to clean up after yourself. If you listen to Portrait of an American Family and you decide to go hurt somebody or kill yourself, and that's something that your parents should be responsible for raising you to be an idiot that you can't think for yourself. And that's not my responsibility. If anything, I'm trying to tell people now, raise your kids better, or I'm going to. And that terrifies them because they think I'm this antichrist and the most terrible thing on earth, but in reality, I'm giving their children a much more accurate account of what America is really about.
Explain to me this this metaphor, this Marilyn Manson, Twiggy Ramirez. What's the purpose?
It's all about balance. I think there's a lot of power in balance. I've always been raised and taught that if things are irreconcilable, if they don't belong together, then it's wrong. But I think that's not the case, for me at least. I thought that was the best way to describe my personality, because I think everybody has two sides. Some people don't want to, acknowledge that.
Mm-hmm.
But, I thought Marilyn Monroe and Charles Manson were the two most memorable people from the 60s. And just the name Marilyn alone identified with that person, and Manson alone identified with that. So you put those two together, and even phonetically it sounds right, and there's a lot of power behind the name. And it's just all about that balance between positive and negative, and male and female, and it's by putting them together, it transcends morality and sexuality. It's a gray area, and that's what my personality is about, not living within the boundaries.
Mm-hmm. So with your album, with what you're doing, you want to impart something to your audience. So what direction do you tell them to go in?
If anything, I just like to inspire people to find their own truth. I don't have any kind of truth that I can relate to anybody, because if someone tells you the answer, whatever that may be, you're not going to appreciate it as much as if you find it yourself. And everybody has a different truth, because it's really relative to whoever's believing it. So the best I can try and do is inspire people to at least want to find the truth, and at least want to break away from herd mentality and be an individual and think for yourself.
Okay, so let's say 15-year-old kids are digging you. They're digging digging your music. They're digging your message.
Right.
Right. But a lot of what they see is kind of perceived as negative on it. I mean, it's their revolt. It's their revolution in a way. I mean.
Right.
But are you so sure that that's positive for them? I mean, what are you giving? What are you giving them other than being negative? And I'm not saying that you are, because I know you're not trying to do that. But let's say they say, "Hey, man, this guy curses a lot in his album." So how's that positive for them?
Well, I think it's part of the balance. There's a negative there, but what I'm saying is positive. I'm saying it in a negative way. That's the balance that's there. People aren't really used to seeing extreme positive and extreme negative together, so it may appear to be negative, but it's not necessarily. And another thing is that so much stuff is being thrown at you these days. It has to grab your attention, and it has to be in your face for it to get to you. Shock value is the vehicle through which I try and relay my message. It's not about shock value. That's about getting the message to you.
Mm-hmm. Now you're obviously influenced by where you grew up in Miami, and now you're out on the road. You're seeing the rest of America. Is it more of the same as, or is it worse? Is it worse than you thought?
The rest of America?
Yeah.
Things suck all over. Life's not fair. America is a screwed up place. I'm not complaining about it. I'm just realizing it for what it's worth. Don't try and kid yourself and think that you're supposed to get a fair chance. Nothing's fair. You got to make it for yourself. That's why I think it's sad that parents and religious groups always want to try and protect you from reality and keep you away from the truth and profanity and nudity and pornography and violence. And that's what the world's about. If they want to try and hide it from you, then you're going to grow up sheltered and you're not going to be able to take it. When I started to end up in my teenage years, my parents gave me the opportunity to do whatever I wanted, and I never found it necessary to become an alcoholic or a drug addict, because I wasn't rebelling against anything. If you tell someone no, you can't do it, they're always going to go against it. That's what I'm doing now. If there weren't groups trying to censor me, I wouldn't have any reason to be doing what I want. It's all that balance. I can't exist without their conservative values.
Right.
That's all it's saying.
Yeah, but now you're part of the big tour. But that, you bring up the point of labels now. Nothing Records, and you're being distributed by Interscope. So the big media has picked up on you, though, right?
To a certain degree, it's starting to.
Right. But why did you choose music for your message? Could have, you seem to be an artist. Why music? I
think that's the most powerful medium in America, is music. I think music motivates everyone now. I think if someone like any leader, or if Charles Manson were not in jail right now, he would probably be a rock star. I think if Hitler was alive, he would be a rock star. This is where you talk to people these days. This is where you start a revolution of any kind, through music.
Mm-hmm. Now, why don't you tell us a little bit how you got involved with Trent and how he helped you guys when you got started?
I met him about 4 or 5 years ago when the band was in its early stages, and we became friends, and we had a lot in common because we're both from the Midwest. And we just kept in touch over the years, and when he started Nothing, he called me and he told me about it, and he said, I want to start a label where artists can feel comfortable of not getting screwed over and be able to put out an honest representation of themselves. That's what he did. He gave us the opportunity to make an album that's raw and unexpurgated, and it's the complete honest representation of what Marilyn Manson is about.
Mm-hmm. And your stage antics and stuff, and how did you decide to incorporate that into the music?
I don't think I ever really decided to incorporate it. It's just whatever music makes me feel like doing at any given time is what I'm going to do. That's why we run into a lot of trouble getting banned, because sometimes depending on my mood, it will be how far I'll go on stage, how extreme, and sometimes I'm more extreme off stage, so it just really all depends on
how you feel, on the crowd, or
I mean, I don't try and hold anything back. I think that's part of being honest, is doing exactly what you feel like doing, if you're willing to accept the responsibility, and I'm willing to.
All right. Well, Marilyn, thanks for being with us tonight. Good luck. Have fun on the tour.
Thanks.
All right, man.
All right.
Take care.
All right.